welcome to the Virtual Deal Factory, Damien. Welcome to the virtual.
You don't even know your name, Damien. Come on.
It's a Friday, man. Virtual Deal Factory Daily. Damien Lampranchi here with my
Mark Evans DM.
Mark Evans DM hanging out. Today it's time for kitchen table talk with Mark and Damien sitting at the kitchen answering questions from investors like you. I made that up, bro.
Sounds great.
That's cool. Don't try to take those lyrics away from me because I will sue you.
Exactly.
So
lawyers are on it.
We, as you know, guys, we like every Friday to kind of just come here and, again, the Virtual Deal Factory. It's about you guys. So we have questions that come in during the week, and we encourage you to ask them and send them in. And then Mark and I hang out and we answer them for you. So, Mark, we got our first question coming in. I know this question is like literally made for you because I know it's something you're just so passionate about. It comes from, we got Jerome Gums from Clinton. Okay. Jerome Gums from Clinton, Maryland says, I was seriously burned on a deal, which was my first, and became gun shy. How do I not get caught up in the paralysis of analysis? And I know this is something you just get so fired up about.
Today's Friday, right? I can be nice or straight up. To be straight up honest with you, I see this all the time, and here's why. People open themselves up to be burnt when they want to be burnt. What I do is, I've been burned on deals too, and once in a while I still get burnt. But the key is limiting your downside, looking at the opportunity as a whole, knowing that you're going to learn. I can promise you this, by you taking the action and getting involved in a deal, that got you moving forward. I don't know what you got burned on or how you got burned or if you lost money or didn't lose money or didn't make as much as you thought or whatever that burnt feeling is, because it could be totally different for every person involved in a situation like that. So what I would do is I would say, mark this up. This is called the School of Hard Knocks. This is a great college. We've all been to it. But look at it and say, look, I was wrong, and here's what I did wrong. And here's what not to do next time. But don't forget, you have to take action. You need to keep moving forward. So look at it. If the positives outweigh the negatives, go for it. That's what I would recommend, Damien.
It reminds me, if you guys know Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Workweek, he puts it so well when he says so often in life, we have an opportunity, Mark, to make a decision that if it goes well, we can achieve like a permanent happiness level of like 9 or 10. And at the downside, maybe worst case scenario, it's a temporary 4 or 5, of being in the dumps for a little bit. And most people will avoid the opportunity to have a long-lasting, really high level of just fulfillment and happiness for the fear of just a short-term downside. And, you're right. You have to limit your downside. You have to be smart about it. You don't want to ever risk your family or your kid's college account. But there's always going to be risk involved. I mean, that's in anything you do that's worth doing. And it's just a matter of limit your downside and then just focus on the positive and understand, it's part of the game. I mean, you're going to, even what we do with, developing technology, all the time, sometimes we hire people, I pay money, and a week later or 2 weeks later, nothing's done. And, it's just part of the business, and you got to roll on from there. And actually, Jerome Gums had a part 2 to his question, Mark. He said, what is portfolio buying or bulk buying? Which is kind of funny because he went from like afraid to pull the first deal to now he's going into bulk buying, which is get aggressive, Jerome. Get aggressive, buddy.
Yeah, here's the thing is again, when I see this, and I'm not talking specifically to you, but to everybody I always see ask these questions, we go from one extreme to another, from being burnt to now portfolio buying. I recommend stay out of that business for now until you get comfortable and become great at doing deals. Not only that, portfolio buying, you're going to need proof of funds, typically $1 million plus. You're going to need to have access to a lot of money and or people that has lots of money. There's just so much. It's a whole different ballgame. You're playing, so it's like, a high school kid jumping on a field with an NFL player, getting ready, suiting up, ready to play. You're going to get smacked and it's going to hurt bad. And I recommend, hang out on the playground, get good, become the best person in the playground, and then move over and then start kicking it up there. I personally do small portfolio buys, and usually around $1 million or lower, so somewhere around there, 750 to $1 million. But I don't do many of them. It's a lot more work. There's a lot more negatives that could happen, and it could really put you in a situation where you don't want to be. So if you're not making $1 million plus per year, I'd recommend don't even do it. I know the numbers look great. Trust me, they always look good on paper.
Right.
But the time and energy and effort, you have to know when to say, just let it go. Just let it go. And move on.
Just for you guys that may not know, portfolio buying is instead of buying an individual property, there's either oftentimes an investor, a bank, or even a builder who has an entire package of properties. It could be a community, it could be a development, it could be multiple lots of land, and they offer it. Oftentimes, I have one of our members who used to do that kind of bulk purchases, and that's outrageous. Buy $10 million of real estate for 40 cents on the dollar, 30 cents on the dollar. But like you said, you really have to have the finances and the experience to kind of play in that big game. Definitely opportunities, but definitely not where you want to start as a beginner.
Exactly. And real quick here, Damien, because I want to be very clear. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying the majority of people that present bulk deals to you are typically people selling bulk real estate investing, how to become an investor of bulk investing.
Right.
So be careful and just move on. Don't even get involved in it. Just keep it stupid, simple, move forward, do some deals, make some money, and then decide from that point on.
Yeah, honestly, Jerome, I would just go in the Virtual Deal Factory. I would start by doing small assignments and bird dog deals. You can make a couple grand a week easy.
Yeah,
just a little hustle and a good attitude. That's what I would do.
Absolutely.
We got another question here.
Okay.
Did you see the picture on the member profile of the little boy holding the knife? Lou Cozzolino, my REI automation specialist, wrote this in. I'm going to answer this question for Lou. Yes, I did see the picture. Because it was flagged. In case most of you guys didn't see it, but we had a member who thought it would be in a good taste to put in a rather creepy picture of a small child holding a knife, and one of you guys flagged it, which is what you guys should be doing.
Absolutely.
And we pulled it down and told the member, we are fun, goofy guys and stuff like that, but definitely small children with deadly weapons is not the environment we're looking to build for you guys. So.
That's right.
Thank you for pointing that stuff out, and always let us know. This is a community. Just like you live in a neighborhood, and the safety and quality of your neighborhood really depends upon all the neighbors keeping their eyes and ears open.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. We're here. We're not perfect either, but we're here to make this the best and safest and most fun place for you possible. So appreciate you guys letting us know. We have one last question to finish up.
Okay.
Table Kitchen Talk with Mark and Damien, and it says, what is the best way to find a buyer for another wholesaler? And this is from Steve, an investor in New York.
Yeah, Steve, here's what I would recommend, Damien. I reckon, real quick here, number one, finding people's like Easter egg hunting. It's tough, and sometimes someone else is going to find them before you. I recommend being proactive and placing ads to have them find you. My question is to you, would you rather be you individually trying to find one person, or would you rather have 100 fishing poles out in the thing, having people come to you, or, have these people reciprocating back to you? I can tell you the latter is much, much easier once you get marketing and understand marketing. However, in the beginning, you could go in Virtual Deal Factory, type in what you have, and have investors come out to you. Go into individual people, your friends list, send them a comment and say, hey, I'm an investor in New York City. Here's what I'm looking for. Do you know somebody, or are you interested? If so, let's talk. Start creating a community. Keep in mind, everybody in Virtual Deal Factory is geared towards real estate investing. They're there. There's no need to find them. They're there. You just need to extract them to pull the information into you that you need to make the money. That's what I'd recommend.
Yeah, and there are also buyer leads being put in not only by members, but by our own personal fire hose of buyer leads, as I call it. So,
Yep.
Reach out to them, Steve, make a connection, make a relationship, and then, bring them to a deal and, make some money, make some deals.
That's what it's about. Make some cash in Virtual Deal Factory.
So hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hope you enjoyed today's Virtual Deal Factory daily episode here at the Kitchen Talk with Mark and Damien, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.